of my life, as far back as I can remember, I have wanted to sing. I didn't really have much of an experience of God, but I had a Christian friend, and I think it must have been, I was about 16 years old. She invited me to a camp. There was just this realisation, and I don't know even at the moment that it happened, that God was real. But unfortunately, pretty much went away from that, I think, within about 6 months. It wasn't a hard experience. I never actually made that connection with Christ. But the most significant thing I think of that time was probably not my search for truth, was my search for validation. And like a lot of people, I chose to look for that in substances. So probably got drunk the first time about 14. I was smoking cigarettes by the age of 10, I'm pretty sure. Marijuana by 15, 16, somewhere around there. And it was pretty much a downward spiral from there. And the more I went into that world of numbing that pain, I think the less I felt I could be in the world, the less I felt of myself, the less I cared about myself. I got to the point where I was actually too afraid to leave the house. I left the house once a fortnight probably to hand my doll form in. It felt like a tomb. It felt like everything had been, like, I felt just completely empty and hollow. Everything had been stripped away. I was thinking about ending my life because I couldn't imagine, I'm like, well, this isn't life. There's nothing, I'm not existing for anything. I'm just existing. Yeah, it's just, I'm breathing in and out, basically. That's it. So I just started to stay at home and inside, and I isolated myself from the world. And it was at that time that I was pretty much locked up in my own little world that God came back. I know I had to actually sort of tangibly invite him into my life, and it had to be a real personal experience. And that's what it ended up being between me and him. Something was just gnawing inside and I couldn't work out what it was. So I collapsed on the floor, and I'm sitting there sort of hunched over with my eyes shut, and in my mind's eye, I could just see this archway and there's this light shining through, and I could see this figure sort of standing in this archway. And I knew instantly that it was Christ. I knew straight away. And I was like, what are you doing standing up there in that doorway, like with this big distance between the two of us, when I need you in here, and I want you to come here, close to me. It was really quite hard at first to really embrace him, and it took a good year before I really fully made a decision. I was still trying to be good enough. I met the most amazing pastor. He explained to me, there's nothing you're ever going to be able to do to be good enough for God. But at the same time, there's nothing you can do to make him love you any less. I think more than anything, my journey has been a journey of learning to accept myself and love myself and see myself as God sees me. He has been the one who was able to reach over that enormous sort of fortress of a wall that I'd built around my heart. And it's just been slowly cleaning it out and slowly working, and just to the point where I now know that I am completely free in him. I know that I have a hope, that I know that there's a future, that I know that he has a plan for me, that his promises are real, that the more I give myself over to him, the more he's making me into the person that he wants me to be.